of the school's existence is the opportunity to gather groups together, to celebrate. There's a lot of history here. And I think it's appropriate to recognize some special guests here who absolutely represent history that I'm sure Brian absolutely respects. And those are the first class of the Athletic Hall of Fame. A couple of people that I think, Brian, you know just a little bit.
Very well.
So I'd like to introduce, to make sure everybody knows, we have 4 of our 6 inductees from last year's class. They are here. I'd like to introduce for all of you to make sure you know they are here. We have, starting from left to right, Bill Norton, our basketball coach. Bill is here. We have to his left, we have Mike Lodish from the class of 1985. We have to his left the weightlifting, the track cross country coach, Bob Stark, from the class of 1964. And then Brian's coach of football, Al Fracassa. Thank you, Al. Well, one of the great parts of our history is that maybe not in the very beginning, but as time marched on, more and more of it was captured on video. And so before we begin with a few words from some of Brian's friends and family, we have a little video to show you of some of Brian's exploits at Brother Rice and elsewhere.
Be a slide.
It's fun to reminisce that way and to watch those videos, but it's a lot more fun to hear from friends. Kevin?
Thank you. Did you say friends?
Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Kennedy, and I've been asked to say a few words this afternoon in honor of Brian at the Athletic Hall of Fame. Introductory remarks, my dad always told me, are a lot like being the corpse at Irish wake. It's necessary before we start the party, but no one expects you to say a hell of a lot. So I'm going to be pretty short. I also promised John Birdie that I would keep it shorter than Digger Phelps at the championship. Digger went 2 hours and 32 minutes. And just to give you an idea, many of you were there, but it took him at least 42 minutes to get from his birth to the 8th grade when he got the nickname Digger. Tommy Chisholm turned to me halfway through. He said, "We're going to have another Olympics before this guy is done." I had the honor to nominate Brian for the Hall of Fame, and when I did that, I talked to many of his siblings, and when I presented his name, I shared a story that was in the paper that maybe not everyone in this room had heard of. About 2 years ago, there was an article in the Cleveland paper about a young man who was a soldier whose name was Brennan. And as you can imagine, the soldier's father was a football fan, and he had followed Brian through Boston College and Cleveland Browns. And they got to talking, these 2 men whose sons were both in the hospital at the same time. And he found out, one of the men was a Cleveland Browns fan, and he found out that the soldier was named after Brian because he had been born prematurely, and they didn't think that the boy was going to make it. Well, long story short, he did make it, and he was named after Brian, goes to the Citadel, goes into the Army, is deployed in Afghanistan, and his Humvee got blown up by one of these IEDs. And the soldiers in the back didn't make it, they died, but he lost his legs, but he was in the hospital and he was getting better. Well, the story gets back to Brian through this radio station, and Brian and Bethany go out to Washington, D.C., and they visited this soldier while he was getting better. And I think that says a lot about Brian and the man that he became, and that's everything that we want to accomplish at Birmingham Brother Rice High School. So without further ado, Brian's son, Brian Jr., has a few comments. Yeah.
Well, I've had the opportunity to see my dad publicly speak many times, whether it was on the sports team I was on or actually at the Boys Hope, Girls Hope charity he helped raise over $3 million for. And one thing I learned from my dad is you always need to start with a joke. So my joke begins like this. A man is on a roof, and there's a flood. He's somewhere down south, and there's a flood, and the waters are rising and rising, and he prays to God. He goes, God, please help me. And eventually a rowboat comes along. And the man goes, get in, get in, get in. You've got to get in this rowboat. You don't have much time left. And he goes, no, God is going to save me. So the man goes, okay, rows away. A few minutes later, a helicopter comes over, and a man gets lowered from a rope and says, you have to hold on to this rope. We got to get out of here now or you're not going to make it. The man goes, God's going to help me. You can go away. So the man eventually drowns because he turns down this help. And he's up at the gates of heaven, and he goes, St. Peter, I need to talk to God right now. He goes and marches over to God. And God says, what are you doing here? And he goes, what do you mean, what am I doing here? I asked you for help, and you never helped me. He goes, what do you mean? I sent you a rowboat and a helicopter. My dad, unlike that man, is someone who's never turned down an opportunity. And because this is an athletic introduction, I'll have to start with athletics, right? And he graduated from Brother Rice and went to Boston College, where he actually, I just found out, won the Student Athlete Award, Thomas Scanlon Award, and graduated as the all-time leading receiver, which has apparently been replaced now, but we still will remember you for that. And went to and played with Doug Flutie, went to the Browns, and was the 4th all-time receiver, receiving under Bernie Kosar. And Dad, I just want to say that you've always been there for me if I've ever needed it, and you've always been a great family man, and we're all very proud of you.
And one more introductory note, Coach Al.
Brian. Sweetheart.
I guess I can talk from here to there. There's certain things you can't teach young people, and one of them is courage. And I've never seen Brian ever loaf, ever. And I speak for Coach Norton too. I used to watch Coach, coach basketball, and I said, Brian's a good basketball player. He's a good watch. And all he did was diagram the balls. Coach Norton really loved this kid because he really had it with him. And then Coach Stark, he ran the 220-yard dash. He used to run those triangles. Not first place, right? He just had natural talent. He did everything with that. In football, our motto that year was never, never give up. And I heard that Brian uses that motto when he speaks all around Cleveland there. I hear a lot about you, all good things. You better keep it up. But Brian was a very special athlete, and we got along very well. And he had this cockiness about him that I still picture today. He has this certain walk. It's kind of hard to explain it to you, but he kind of hopped, when he walked. He wanted to make sure everybody knew where he was. But I'll tell you what, Brian, you go down as one of the great athletes in my book, and will never be forgotten. Thanks for everything you've done for Brother Rice, and thanks for the good example you were as captain of our football team. All your buddies are here, most of them tonight, and they all feel the same way they do. So God bless you, buddy.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, with that, it is my honor to award to Brian Brennan for the class of 2010 this symbol of the Athletic Hall of Fame. And Brennan, I want you to know you were Brown, you were an Eagle, always a Warrior.
I agree.
Congratulations.
Well, hopefully I don't get emotional, but hey, Bri, thank you. That was really nice said. Kevin, Coach, thank you very much. Bri, I really appreciate that you honored me not only with your talk, but with your hair. Your hair brought me back in the late 70s. I'm just glad that piercings weren't part of the late 70s. You know, Renee called me a while ago and asked me to invite some people to a luncheon because of the honor, and I said, Renee, I feel a little uncomfortable in doing that, but she made me, and everybody here, I invited you, and you're very meaningful in my life. My family has come a long way. My daughter, Grace, from Bucknell. Coach Stark, you'll like this. Grace was a 6-time All-State runner at Gilmore Academy. She won the 4x4, the 4x8. Grace spent some time with Coach Stark a little later. He helped me out a lot. And my son Brian, you met him. My daughter Courtney can't make it. She's in New York. But a lot of my family came in. My mom and dad came from Vero Beach all the way up here. My brother Marty flew in from New York, and actually had a bunch of his friends come in from the class of '78. Great to see you guys. Teresa and John came in from Chicago. Little Jack Dempsey's with them. Thank you very much. I figured Coach Rad isn't here today, so I'm going to take his time as well. Richard and Chris are local here, and their son Christopher, who goes to Brother Rice. I appreciate you coming in. Gwen, Bradley, you're so nice to attend. Hopefully Jimmy's grinding somebody's tooth right now, putting a crown. So you can pay for that Boston College education. I have friends here from Cleveland, Chandler, and Chandler Jr. Wait, it's Chandler the third and Chandler the fourth, right? Is that correct? Junior and the third. Okay, Andy Hardy, Bill Mydell, and everybody else here. It's just my classmates that I've invited here. It's very special. It's always nice to be remembered, any function. So I thank John and Ed and Brother Rice for including me in this year's class. I know Rademacher can't be here today. Next year, Renee, we're going to make sure we save him to seat rather than all the Brennans. Yeah. But it's a very special honor to me because so many great athletes have come through Brother Rice. And to be included this year, again, is just a special honor. Congratulations to the coaches last year in the inaugural class. I think I'm a pretty good player because of you guys. And the disciplines, the three of you, Coach Carrico, you included, instilled in me. Thank you very much. Mike Lodish. If you play 3 or 4 years in the NFL, you've accomplished something. Mike, how many years you play?
11.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then B.J. Armstrong, right, he was in the class, he couldn't make it today. I used to school B.J. Armstrong. I was a senior in high school, B.J. was in 8th grade. It seems like yesterday we're all Warriors, but that was 30 years ago. It's our 30-year anniversary. You know, I'm fortunate to have Kevin here, and Creighton, and Tommy Cote, 3 of my great friends from St. Hugo's. Jeffrey Reel, not with us, but well remembered. You know, before Rice, there was St. Hugo. And at St. Hugo, Aldgate and Wood Edge, we had this group, right? We had the Cotes on the street. We had the Fergusons, Shelley and Renee Lynch. We had Tommy Moore. We had Marty Pickett. We had the Dietz family. We had the Reels. We would do everything together. Whether we walked to school together, played football together, sat in Clint Bond's 7th grade American history class together and got bored. Whatever it was always memorable, that group. It's a great neighborhood. I think Michael Dietz, where's Michael? You were my idol when I was growing up. You don't know that, but you were. Until you broke my leg.
In your real front leg.
In your real front yard.
There's no way to get you down.
You broke my leg. You would always go low and pick it high.
It was on your back.
And then, you know, everybody here today is very special. I remember St. Hugo's is a great part of my life because it was a stepping stone to Brother Rice. My backfield was I played quarterback, Tommy played fullback, John Whitehead was left running back, and Kevin was the madman. He was the right running back. Kevin would be like snot and sweat. He's crazy football. You know, I remember we went down to Cincinnati Moeller at Brother Rice. Remember Coach Picasso? Kevin Kennedy had 23 tackles. Thank goodness because I was behind you.
They were all downfield.
You were a great football player. Tommy, I love you. You know, we've had so many good times together. And everybody here. I mean, St. Hugo's was a big part. It led me to close with my cousin, Charlie Dillon, who was a great player at St. Regis and Island Brother Rice. Tommy Chisholm, who were a great basketball player. I used to fear Steve English from your class. St. Bede's, we had Tommy O'Leary, and we had, Frask. I mean, you guys, great. It's just great to see everybody. My cousin Vince came, was an honorary warrior. He went to University of Detroit. And my favorite aunt, and my Aunt Pat's here from Grosse Pointe. Thanks for coming. Aunt Helen was a close second. Just so you know. I could tell some stories. One story, in 1976, we were playing at Holy Name Gym. I remember it was February 15th with my birthday. My mom planned a surprise birthday for me after the game. And we were supposed to beat Holy Name easily. Well, it didn't go like that because the ref was a parishioner of Holy Name. And he called a foul on Kevin Kennedy. Mark Moore hit a basket to come in with 1 point. The ball rolls over. My dad was so upset. He kicks the ball, hits the ref in the back. Right here. Sure enough, they get a technical foul. They go on and win. Mark Moore makes his foul. We would put Judd at the line, but Judd couldn't shoot the foul. So we get Mark Moore and we lose. And then we had the surprise birthday party. Shelley would remember that. I don't know, Kevin, Creighton, all you guys. It was just, it was a funny story. I played in the NFL for 9 years. I couldn't fake it out anymore. I faked them out for 9. 9 was enough. But I played with great players. Boston College, my son mentioned Doug Flutie, great player, Heisman Trophy winner, off the charts. Great guy. Bernie Kosar, smartest player I ever played with. People in Cleveland would ask me, what's the difference between Flutie and Kosar? I'd say, well, I can see Kosar throw it. Ernest Biner, Gary Danielson, Mike Pagel. My roommate at one point as a Cleveland Brown on the road was Don Strock. Don Strock was 41 years old. I was 30. We were playing in Washington. He said, BB, it's my birthday. I'm 40 today, and you're buying. And usually on the road, you go out with a bunch of guys, and you go back to the hotel because you have a meeting, and then you have curfew, right? Well, he goes, Brennan, you're buying, and I'm going to be at Clyde's in Georgetown. So they have a Catholic Mass. I go to Catholic Mass, and then I meet Don Strock. He already has 3 martinis. He's the backup quarterback now. We eat, we go back. He has six-pack as my roommate. He's sitting there, he's drinking right over. Bernie gets hurt. He's got to be the quarterback. He comes in the huddle smelling like a brewery at the time. Oh my God. Kids just doesn't have good sense. Well, there's characters in the NFL. We'll just say that. I went on to be a Bengal, and Boomer Esiason was a great player. I remember him. He ran that team like it was his team. Junior Seau, when I was a Charger, that guy was a stud. He could have played receiver, quarter, he could have played anything. I played 3 FC championship games, very meaningful to me. We lost all 3. I know, Lotus, you like John Elway. Nobody in Cleveland does. You put him behind Art Modell and LeBron James. But, then I played for great coaches, too. Bobby Ross. I played for Dave Shula, Bill Belichick. Sam. He cut me. Shot member. And then there was Sam Rutigliano. Sam Rutigliano was a great